You are now listening to CTR Media Network.
The family. CTR Media Network. Yeah. Best in the biz. Yeah. Join the team. CTR is who we are, the media network, that's the best by far. Whether you listen at your home, at your job, in your car, come get the information that's needed above par. Never lasting, motivational podcasting, giving you the answers to the questions that you're asking. Serious talks and topics, how to come up and profit, how to better yourself, your health is here, we got it. Reaching 350 million, they tuning in. We in 50 different countries, we all can. And like-minded, find your purpose and your assignment. Come get your fix, your feel, your mental alignment. Get active and speak to the masses. Build your influence all levels and all classes. Now you know you can monetize and grow. CTR Media Network. Start the show. CTR Media Network.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to CTR Media Network TV, where content meets impact. Today's guest is a game changer, a visionary, and a disruptor in all the right ways. He went from gym owner to tech CEO, and now he's helping thousands scale their businesses with precision, passion, and purpose. As the CEO and founder of PushPress, he's mastered the art of scaling businesses with heart, combining Northstar matrix, a great mindset, and customer delight. Family, CTR Nation, lean in close today as we have the amazing Dan Uyemura in here to drop strategy, mindset, and entrepreneur truth bombs that will shift how you build, lead, and grow your business. Let's go ahead and get started with today's amazing guest, Dan, which is going to help us understand. Welcome to the show.
Wow, what an intro. Thank you so much. Let's go.
You are most welcome. I am so absolutely excited about having you here today, Dan. So you have a very unique journey. You went from gym owner to SaaS CEO. So what was exactly the turning point where you said, okay, I need to switch on over to tech? What was that mindset?
Well, I mean, to be honest, I was always a coder. So before I was a gym owner, I was writing code for AOL and MySpace and places like that. And I got tired just sitting at a desk coding all day long, decided I wanted to open a gym and help my community get some fitness. And once I did that, I ended up right back in coding again.
Well, wow. Okay, so you already was doing it, but you say, okay, I'm gonna just go in more deeper. Okay, so you often mention lessons from the .com bus. What exactly do you describe as this .com bus that you refer to, and what were some of those hard-earned insights that you gained and how they shape your leadership today?
Oh yeah, so I mean, for those of you who don't remember, the early age of the internet, there was all kinds of these .coms popping up. I started one actually. It was called Mixer.com. I was in college at the time, and it was kind of a social network before social networks existed. And it was just all the stuff I was into: snowboarding, skiing, auto, like what do you call it, like drifting and car shows and clubbing and all that, stuff you do when you're in college. And we raised some money. We lost it. I felt really bad losing the money of an investor. What I didn't realize at the time was investors are kind of paid. They're professional, I wouldn't say gamblers, but they're betting on businesses to some degree. And the money we lost was a gamble that someone was making, and they made it in us. And the .com bust was when all the money dried up in the .com industry. I think it was like 2001 or 2002 or something. And because of that, we couldn't raise any more money. We had bought a bunch of equipment and hired a bunch of people, and we had to go under. So that was painful.
Yes. Some trends last, some things last, and some things fail, but you learned some things, I'm sure, that you was able to take into your business and make it thrive like you're doing today. But you have said something very funny. So I want to just ask you this. You're known to say, dealing with your mission, that you have a white hat cowboy in a black hat room. Now, could you explain what you mean, Dan?
Yeah, that's just playing up to the old cowboy movies. How like the good guy walks in with the white hat, and the bad guys are in the saloon with the black hats on, and that's kind of the reference to that. So like in our industry in fitness, most of the companies that were around when I started were owned by investors who only cared about money, which is what most investors only care about. And I was really turned off on that by being a gym owner. I just felt like they didn't really care about me as a customer. They just cared about making more money off of me, and they weren't really helping me as a gym owner. So I basically built my whole company around helping gym owners. And I think it's an important mindset to have, that there's two different ways to run a company. You can maximize on what I call the outputs, and the output would be money, or you can maximize on the inputs, and the inputs in this case would be customer happiness. And the philosophy I run my business on is, if you maximize on the inputs, you can, it's not a guarantee, but you're going to automatically somewhat maximize your outputs by doing that. But if you focus on the money, you will almost always create unhappy customers. So it's kind of a way to create a flywheel that actually works in your business by focusing on just keeping your customers happy.
That's one thing that I've really admired about you, was that you're very client central. Like you really like to be centralized on making sure that they're happy and the retention. And that is very, very important, because at the end of the day, everybody wants to be seen, everybody wants to be heard, everyone wants to be valued. And you understood that early on. So let's talk a little bit about this Northstar metrics. Many people don't even know what that is. Could you explain it to us?
So yeah, essentially the Northstar metric is the most important metric for your company. And generally speaking, that should be something that is actually customer value centric. So for instance, for YouTube, their Northstar metric was minutes watched of video. Right. So it's really easy for YouTube to say like, oh, we want to have money. We want to make the most ad revenue. But instead, again, it's the same idea. If you make the video experience excellent, then people will just watch more videos. And if they watch more videos, you're selling more ads. If you're selling more ads, you're making more money. So you're solving kind of like the actual customer satisfaction part of it, if that makes sense.
It makes perfect sense. And that can actually be applied to any business, whether you are a podcaster, whether you are a gym owner, whatever the case may be, because even though everybody metric may be a little bit different, but the way that you described it, as long as you have your customers as your core, then you're doing good.
Correct.
And so what was it? What was the turning point for you? Have you always felt this way about being customer centric or client centric? Or was it something that happened in your life that made you say, wait a minute, I need to shift?
Yeah, it's a really good question. I think it was twofold. One, well, I guess they kind of tack onto each other, but the fact that I felt like a number to the gym softwares that I was using as a gym really made me kind of lean the other way. And I guess that kind of just twofolds into the fact that like, usually when you're starting a business, you want to find a wedge, like a place where you have an opportunity. And what I really felt was all of these companies that were out there at the time were just so focused on just pulling more money out of the gyms that I would just focus on pouring myself into the gyms and pouring ourselves into helping the gyms. And that became our wedge when we started, and it became part of our culture and ethos that hasn't gone away since.
Yeah, I love it. Because I'm a person just like you. I realized after doing it the wrong way for so long, because you can get so caught up in the numbers that you lose your connection with people. And if you stay connected to the people, they will let you know exactly what they want and exactly what their needs are. And the only thing you have to do is just provide them and make them happy. At the end of the day, I always tell people, the best thing that my customer or client can tell me after I provide them a service or something is thank you. Because I know if someone says thank you to me, I know I did what I was supposed to do, because that's one of the best words, the two words that anybody can ever say to you. But you're very big on this growth, and this, you use something called the KPI. So for people who are business owners, what that don't know that terminology, what exactly is a KPI?
KPI is
How they help them?
key performance indicator. It's just a metric that's kind of it's so think of it this way. I'm in the health and fitness space. Your heart rate is a KPI, your blood pressure is a KPI, your weight is a KPI, your height. Like these are key indicators of what your body is like. And so the business is the same. It could be, your revenue, it could be your churn rate, it could be your gross margins, it could be all kinds of different numbers that actually indicate the health of your business.
Okay, well, that was the simplest I have ever heard anybody explain KPI, and it was the best, because most of the time it's like way over here over the top of your head, and you be like, what did you say? Do you have a thesaurus or a dictionary to go along with that? Do you have some glossary terms? Because I need like some cliff notes. So thank you for being so simple that anybody coming in will actually know what that is. So when you keep mentioning this gym, and everybody can see from the video that you are well fit. So how did your journey from gym ownership to tech entrepreneur influence what you developed with the PushPress?
Well, everything, because when I opened my gym, I became friends with other gym owners, and I became one with the community of the people I was trying to serve. So it just made it really easy to be empathetic to the needs of the gym owner, to care about what the customer wants. And at the end of the day, I consider these people, not my constituents or my clients, but my friends to some degree. I believe in what they're doing, and I've walked the walk that they've walked, and that influences everything that we build at this company.
I want to speak a little bit to the effect of the entrepreneur. Like, and entrepreneur is so vast now. I mean, someone can be a business owner, someone can be a content creator, but it's entrepreneurship, right? One thing that I notice as entrepreneurs is that we work so hard inside our businesses that we do not do enough health and wellness. We're doing a lot of sedentary activities. We're sitting down a lot. So how can what you do actually help entrepreneurs to get up and move and not forget our health as we are helping our customers and clients? And do you have anything such as that to kind of motivate us to get moving?
Well, I mean, we support gyms in like every community in America. So if you kind of like go out your front door, walk down to a strip mall, see a gym, good chance that we work with them. And we're providing them the tools to stay in touch with you, help you stay accountable, motivated, help them to work with you, bring you on board as a client, all those things. So there's nothing that I provide it's our gym owners that are doing the work, right? It's our clients that we support that are doing the hard work on the front lines of, I will call it an epidemic to some degree. There's enough people not moving where it's a problem. When it comes to like any one of you guys listening right now, what can you do? Just start simple. Like if you feel like you haven't been moving or you haven't been working out, don't go and try and, climb a mountain or do something crazy. Just get out and get your steps. I tell my family, hey, just stand up and sit down off the couch 50 times a day. That's all you gotta do. Just stand up and sit down. Your legs will get a workout. You're gonna break a sweat. You're gonna feel it. And then, as you kind of ease into it and start to feel more about getting into the rhythm of the workout, then find something that challenges you. Ideally, find something fun, right? That's what I loved about CrossFit before. I'm doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu now. It's just a challenge. It's fun. You learn something new. You learn a new skill, and you make friends. I think that's the big thing about the gyms that we personally support is we're all community-based gyms. So, like Zumbas, CrossFits, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsus. Like, you make friends there. It's community. It's like church for your body. So seek them out. Look for them. It's fun.
I like that. Church for your body. I like that. Okay. So that's very good, because one thing that I have noticed, and I'm guilty of it as well, I have to set timers so I know when to stand up, move around and all that, just to remind myself. And I have noticed it's on the rise with entrepreneurs having more health issues and stuff like that. So what you do with your business and working with these gyms can actually be beneficial to them. So we have a lot of business owners that watch this show and entrepreneurs. So you're very, very great with building out strategies. You have worked with some multi-million-dollar companies. You have been able to raise funds and all of that. So what would you say is the key element for anyone who is looking at, as a business owner, looking at their annual planning process, that you believe that each business one generalized thing that a business should adapt in order to be successful?
More than likely, just doing an annual plan to some degree will help most businesses. I never did an annual plan until, I mean, honestly, like 3 years ago. We had no reason to. Now that we do them, I see how helpful it is for not just the company as a whole, but like every group in the company. And if you have a smaller company, it'll still help you because, love it or hate it, you are every group. You're the marketer, you're the salesperson, you're the janitor, you're everything. So the way I would look at annual planning is pick a goal that is challenging. That's a year from now, whatever it might be. Number of customers you serve. You can do revenue if you want. You can try and find something that's more of a Northstar metric that's customer aligned. Pick a goal for it, and then really start to think through, like, how do I achieve that goal? What does that look like? What does my world look like that I have to do to get to that goal? And then you can break it up into chunks. So if it's like, I don't know, let's just make up a number. We want to go from 0, I'm gonna do it this way, 0 to 100 over the year. Well, by June, I want to try and get to 40. You know, I won't say 50 because you should think of your growth as like increasing. So it's like, we want to get to 40. We want to figure out how to get to 40 by June. That feels manageable. Well, that means by Q1, what is that? January, February, March. By March, we want to get to 20. Okay, so how do we get to 20? That means in the first 3 months, we got to get 8.5 per month or whatever. Eight, you know, I can't do math in public. 7 per month, whatever. Don't judge me, I'm a gym guy. So, okay, that feels a lot better. 7 per month versus 100. Okay, so like, how do we get 7? Let's just think about January. It's like you can work backwards into chunks and make it really manageable. Okay, if we got to get 7 in January, we got to get 2 for the first week, whatever that means to you. Okay, let's get 2, right? Like, let's get up and get 2 this week. And you can work backwards from your entire annual plan into like a weekly or a monthly or a quarterly cadence, which makes things feel a lot more doable. And then you just try and ramp. What you should do is you should stack your growth over the quarters that happen. Whatever you learn in quarter 1, whatever worked, double down. Whatever didn't work, stop doing it. In quarter 2, you should get better. Whatever you learn there, double down or get away from. And like you get better and you get better, and then next year you're annual planning again. That's how it works.
That is great advice for the simple fact, like you said, most businesses are not doing annual reports. They don't do a report other than if they do their income tax. You should be doing your your taxes, but that's another show. But yes, so you gave us some great strategies on how to do that and also what to look for, because many times as an entrepreneur, you start doing so many different things and you're trying to figure out, what should I keep? What should I let go? Well, don't you try to figure out, let the numbers, the data, whether it grew or not, serve as a gauge for you to pick whether or not you're going to keep doing that or not. Now, you have built out multiple strategies that I feel that can be very beneficial for our audience here, because some of them, they are nonprofit organization members and they want to fundraise. Some of them have these boards they're trying to manage, having a nonprofit or even a business for profit. And then we have ones that want to start working with investors. So let's start back first. How can one that has no fundraising experience be more, or have done it but not, I would say, not successful? How can they be more effective with fundraising?
Yeah, fundraising is very difficult. So if you've had challenges in it, I wouldn't beat yourself up. I tried to raise funds for PushPress for almost 10 years unsuccessfully until we raised fund in 2020. It was almost 7 years. Again, math in public, I can't do it, but it's hard. It's very hard. And looking back on it, we failed for 7 years because I lacked a couple core things, which we'll go over right here. So one, you got to understand how big your opportunity is, because people don't want to invest in small opportunities, generally speaking. Okay. And I'm talking about this from a software person. There's different levels of investing. Like, you might want your family to help you open a laundromat, or you might want to build the next Airbnb. It's very different. My experience is in the software space. So the opportunity, I guess, regardless, has to make sense. If you're opening a laundromat and you're not going to make any money, no one's going to invest. So you got to be able to understand the opportunity very clearly and explain that clearly. Second, you got to understand what the problem is. Okay, so we'll just use the laundromat example. It's easy. So the opportunity is there are 5,000 apartment building dwellers nearby. They all don't have things. This is like, you can do the math on that, what that looks like, pretty good. The problem is the only other laundromat in the area is really dirty. There's rats in it, and they don't have vending machines, so nobody likes to hang out there. It's a terrible experience. Then you have to talk about like my special sauce. Oh, my special sauce is my uncle owns a lighting company, and I can put these really cool lights up. It'll make it really bright. And then my cousin also has a vending machine company, so we're gonna drop in this really fun vending machine. We'll put it. I have a video game in my garage, so I'll put that in there. It'll be a fun place for everyone to do the laundry. Everyone will come to my place, and then you can connect those three to kind of explain what the outcomes can look like. So if we attract, 75% of the people here, and then some of the people from the apartment building start doing their laundry here because it's more fun, they meet people, whatever, this is what the revenue looks like, and that looks like the return could look like for you, and that's how you're gonna kind of paint the picture. You can just flip it, and if someone's pitching you, and hey, I want you to invest in my thing, you're gonna wanna know like what's in it for me. So you gotta be able to spell out why this will work, how much money it can make, why you think you can do it, and what the type of risks there are involved in it.
That's some great advice. And that can even help with you as you are going or seeking investors. You pretty much answer all three parts just there. So one thing that I have found that business owners have trouble with, especially nonprofits, is management of their board. Do you have any suggestions on how you could be better with that?
I do not have any experience managing a nonprofit, so I don't know how boards are formed on our nonprofits.
Well, what about for-profit? Because most of the people watching are going to be for-profit anyway.
So, I can speak to this much, and this goes to a board member and a group of board members is nothing but a relationship. And it doesn't matter if it's your husband or wife, your son or your daughter, or your board member. Relationships are all formed around expectations. Okay, so I think the most important thing you should go into with your board is managing expectations. Meaning, if you know you're going to have a rough quarter, tell them, hey, this quarter is going to be really rough. We're going to do everything we can to make this happen, but these are the reasons it's going to be rough and tough, and these are the things we're going to do to try and get around it. But I just want to let you know up front, no surprises. It's going to be rough. Everyone's going to take that differently. If you have a board member who's unreasonable to you being honest with them, I would question if that board member, like the problem with board members is it's almost a marriage. You can't really get rid of them easy, but I would have a heart to heart and be like, I'm trying to be honest. I'm trying to direct this company the best I can, or the board, this nonprofit the best I can. You seem to be very resistant of it. Is this relationship something we both want to pursue? Can this work? Or else I need a little more support from you. But I think honesty, setting expectations, and I think what a lot of board members are used to is their leader lying to them or hiding things from them. So when you start to break down that trust, what are they going to do? They're going to pick, they're going to dig, they're going to want to, it's almost like if you think your spouse is cheating, you're going to be like, well, where were you last night? What are you doing? Who is that number? That's how a board member will treat you if they feel like you're hiding stuff from them. Yeah.
Well, that's some great advice just in management of people and relationships in general, whether it's business or personal. That was some good advice. So when I think about how many decisions a business owner have to make in a day, and some we are prepared for, and then you get what I call those fire decision questions that's coming real quick. Shoo, shoo, shoo. You were like, okay, let me get a breath. So my question to you is, how do you balance, or I would say this, how do you balance the need for rapid decision making with the necessity of the long-term strategy thinking behind it? Because sometimes we have to make these quick decisions, but how can we do that strategically?
Well, I think no matter what you're doing, every short-term decision or quick decision needs to be aligned with your long-term goals. That is a must, or else I like to think of decision-making as like flying a plane. I'll use another metaphor. So if where are you from?
South Carolina.
South Carolina. So let's say you're going to New York, right? You want to go to New York, but if the plane's headed to LA, no good. So but if you don't know you want to go to New York and the plane's going to LA, you're like, cool, we're going to LA, but really you should be going. It's like you have to know where you want to go before you even start making decisions. And then beyond that, you'll get better at this. The more you become a leader and the more you get experience. Do you use AI stuff?
Oh, yes.
Okay. So you know ChatGPT and all that, right?
Oh, yes.
Okay. So what I call leadership in general is basically like, you know how people say I make decisions from my gut?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's your GPT. What your gut is you've seen so many things happen. You've seen like that company burned down and that one make a bad decision and that one do really well, and you've made a decision and it was bad and this one was good, and you made money here and you lost money there, and you have a whole worldview of things that you've experienced. That's your gut, right? That's the original GPT. It's the CEO GPT, I'll call it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes when things come to you, sometimes the worst thing you can do is sit on it and think too much, because your gut already knows. It's like, I've seen so much stuff, I already know what the answer is. It's that, and that aligns with New York. That aligns with where we want to go. Just do it. But the hard part as a leader is you have to start to understand, like, what things are you making emotionally? Because emotions are not gut. You have to separate those two. So it's like, what things become an emotional decision and what thing is just something you've seen happen time and time again. And I call it pattern recognition. Like, I've seen this happen. I've seen this thing play out and I already know where it's going. So we're just going to cut that off right now and just move on from that. Yeah. So.
Well, then you have not always had everything easy in your life. You had to learn, you had to fall, you had to get back up, you have learned how to utilize tech and all these things in order to take things to the next level. And ultimately, I feel like the best leader is one who realized that it's more about the other people than them. So what is a lesson that you have learned from your not so great, those times in our life that was hard, that was hard lessons? How was those lessons help you now with what you're doing? Because you're uber successful now. So what did you learn from that?
I don't know if I'm uber. I'm okay. I'm definitely not uber successful. I would say,
in my opinion, you are.
Thank you.
And that's my choice, and I'm sticking to it.
I appreciate it. I think one thing I try and check myself on, a place that I continually have gotten myself in trouble in the past, and I probably will sometime next month, is when I let my ego go unchecked. And so whenever I catch myself, in that pity party, or in the they did this to me, or he said that to me, or any of those types of things, I try and check myself pretty quick, because my CEO GPT tells me nothing good happens once I let that spin out of control. So yeah, keeping your ego in check, and it happens all the time. Like, people don't agree with your decisions, people call you a bad leader. I'll throw a crazy term out here if you guys want to. This is not a common one, but it's something I really, really dig into, which is called cognitive dissonance. Have you heard of this? Okay. So cognitive dissonance is a bitch. And it's basically where somebody sees you in a different way than you see yourself.
Oh.
So if you think you're a really charitable person and I'm like, man, you're stingy, the first thing you're going to do is start to defend you can't even control it. You just start to defend yourself. You might start calling them names. Like, it creates this out of control behavior. And I've learned about this because I listen to a lot of podcasts. This one's interesting as hell. An FBI agent said that they literally use cognitive dissonance to get information out of people. So what they'll do is they'll be like, Dr. Tina, I think you're real stingy. And then you'll start to defend yourself. Like, let's say I want to know something about like your husband or your dad or something. Like, I'll throw something out that makes you get out of whack in cognitive dissonance. And then I'll start to be like, well, I know you're stingy because you didn't buy your dad a Father's Day gift. And then you'll start to go down that route, and they'll be like, well, was he even here for it? And then you start to like, oh no, my dad was here. I took him to brunch. Where'd you guys go then for brunch? Oh, and you're starting to get the information you want out of your perp, right, that you're trying to get to. And I just found that to be interesting, that humans can't even control themselves when they get thrown into that loop of cognitive dissonance.
That's interesting. I want to dig a little deeper into that. That is very, very interesting. But I find that what you said is getting the ego. I know that's one thing that I had to learn myself, because as you're building, investing, and let me just put it out there, you guys, success, you keep wanting success, but it's some things you're going to have to learn, some things you're going to lose in order to gain. You're going to make mistakes. It just comes with the territory. And I made some bad decisions, me personally. So I feel that once you feel like you got it right, and then someone says something there, you're like, wait a minute. You don't know what I had to do or go through. And so the thing is this, you're right about checking the ego, not thinking too much of oneself, and always reminding yourself of the past in a way to keep you humble, in a way to keep you aligned and keep you straight. So I feel like that is a key thing to help people be successful. So do you feel that having your philosophy on having a customer delight and value as your cornerstone is the reason why you have been so successful thus far with your business model?
I don't think any one thing makes a business successful, but I do think as a cornerstone, as a pillar of our company, it has been very important to our growth. Yes. And that's because, I mean, hey, this world's pretty tough and everyone feels like they're fighting for their own respect or nobody listens to them. It's crazy because it's literally the easiest thing you can do as a business is to care about your customers and let them know you care about their customers. But it's something that just doesn't happen enough because, again, I don't know if this is an ego thing or what, but every company, every person, every customer support rep is worried about themselves first. Mm-hmm. And so it's like, I got to get home. I got to do this. I want to do that. And the customer calling in is just an annoyance to them, where really it's like the customer is the one who's making everything happen here. And so let's at least just take a step back and respect the fact that without the customers, the business doesn't exist. Without the business, your job doesn't exist. So like we all need to worship the customer here. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Is there any one thing that you wish early on you would have known, that you would have done things a little bit differently, or you just one of those people that say, well, everything that I went through, whether good, bad, ugly, whatever the case may be, it brought me to who I am today? In other words, do Dan have any regrets?
You know, this sounds super, I feel like cliche. I think so. Yeah, I do. Nothing with business, because I do think business is a series. If you can't fail as a business owner, you should just be an employee, you know? So it's like failure's fine. Doing things wrong is fine. All that's fine. I think my regrets more is like, I didn't spend enough time with my dad before he passed away. Like that's the only regret I can really think of, right? I'm trying to spend more time with my mom. She's still here. But you know, when someone's gone, they're gone. And I'll bring this full circle. I think this is why people need to work on their fitness and pay attention to their fitness, because once it's gone, like you're starting to become gone. You know what I mean? Like you lose your mobility, you can't get up out of bed, whatever it might be. Like you have a heart attack, like things start getting taken away from you. And that's probably not a place anyone wants to be in. And there's a saying that I always like kind of tune my head to. I don't know if you've heard it, but it's a healthy man has 900 problems or 99 problems, and a sick man has one. Yeah.
Oh.
A healthy man.
Now that made me sit back and think.
Yeah. A healthy man has 99 problems. A sick man has one.
Wow. Wow.
That's a good one.
That's real good. That's because I never even thought about it like that.
Have you ever felt so sick that you're in bed and like the only thing you want to do is just get out of bed? That's it.
Yeah, well, for people who don't know my back history, I had a stroke at like 26 years old.
Oh, no.
Went to sleep, woke up, and no, the thing is this: I jogged 10 miles a day. Yeah. I was very meticulous on my diet, very meticulous on everything, and so I should not have had a stroke.
Sometimes,
okay,
sometimes it just happens.
I should not, because I was doing all the things, but I didn't understand about chemical-based products. I didn't understand about certain things that I didn't know, and I had to make a radical change in my life in regards to what I put on my body, what I put in my body, as well as just mindset, because your mind as well. And so. And then going from being 20-something years old, being partially paralyzed, having amnesia, a new mom, and forgot that I even had her. Oh, wow. Like, and then had to learn how to walk, talk, all the different things all over again. So I know the value of health and wellness. So when you said that scenario to me, it hit me a little bit different, because I was that one problem.
Wow.
At one time.
That's
I was
so
that. Yeah. So when you said that, I was like, the only thing I wanted when I was sick was not to be sick, you know? And so I'm like, that's why it hit me a little bit different. That's why I'm like, Oh, that's true. So that's why I love how you went full circle and brought it back to the fitness. So for those of the people who are actually watching that may want to do fitness, they may want to start a fitness business. They may want to work with you or something like that. So tell them what exactly is your company and how you help these gyms be successful when you come in to help them.
Yes, I mean, we basically built a software platform that handles as much full stack as we can, and we're working every day to be better at everything a gym or a studio or a fitness facility needs to do to run a business, manage their members, collect payments, keep track of who's coming, communicate with your members, like pretty much everything you need to collect waivers, make sure that we built a member app for people. There's a lot of stuff we do. So yeah, I mean, if you're out there and listening, I would say, first of all, if you're out there and listening and you feel like you're motivated to find some fitness, I would find someone that helps hold you accountable. That could be your significant other. It could be like a group of people who work out every day at the park. It could be a gym. It doesn't matter. The accountability is the biggest part. You need to have people who are rowing in the same boat with you, who are supporting you, and actually who have kind of the ability to call you out when you're just saying like, hey, I'm not coming in today because I just feel like eating ice cream. And they'll be like, get your ass out here with me. Like you need that. So start there.
Yeah, I would say I agree, Dan. Accountability is so important, and being a person who went from the darkest moment in my 26, new mom, newly married, all the good stuff, except that, and then eventually being able to, I know how valuable and how important your health and wellness is, especially when it gets snatched from you. And now I'm very fortunate because I'm one of those people who on the other end, most people don't get to recover, and be able to walk, talk, get their memory back and all that stuff like that. And so what you're doing and how you're helping to make the gyms be more efficient, because at the end of the day, a person who owns a gym, they're not thinking about these systems. So I'm so glad you're a person that's coming in, making their life easier so that we can have access to these gyms and make it more easier for us to be able to connect. So is there anything else you would like to leave or say to our viewing and listening audience in regards to what you do, or any last thoughts or anything like that?
Oh, I feel like I've talked your ear off enough. Just enjoy your life, get out there and live it, and be present for your family. And we all get one life. Go out there and kick some ass.
Well, Dan, thank you so much for being here with us on today. I thoroughly enjoyed it. You got me on that last part. I mean, like things that make it go home. I'm like, ooh, that hit me a little different. So I appreciate you giving me some of your time today, and thank you for being on our show. You guys, make sure to check him out. All his information is going to be in the description of this video. Make sure to go ahead and download our CTR Media Network app today. It's absolutely free. It's our way of giving back, bringing you amazing guests like Dan and so much more, so that you can be able to have what you need in regards to business, entrepreneurship, content creation, and most of all, your health. At the end of the day, your health is your true wealth. So on that note, you guys have a great, amazing rest of your day. And for those of you who want to get tickets, which I know you do, go ahead and get tickets where you can meet myself and some other amazing people that are listed here, as well as some surprise guests and panels that are not presented at the Media and Wealth Conference or the Media and Wealth Summit in Columbia, South Carolina. If you would like to become a sponsor, put your items or business cards in our swag bag, or get tickets, go to CTRMediaNetwork.com. You guys have a great day. Talk to you later. Bye. Have you heard about Book Authority's best new podcasting book winner, which is Dr. Tina J. Ramsay, for her book, The Power of Podcasting, Unlocking Tips and Strategies for Podcasting Success. This book is your podcasting coach. in a book. She is sharing so many strategies. This book reached #1 twice on Amazon for new release and best-selling book. So go ahead to ctrmedianetwork.com to purchase your copy today, or simply place your order on amazon.com today and unleash the power of podcasting. CTR Media Network is now accepting new podcasters to join our growing network that's reaching 350 million global listeners. Have you heard? CTR Media Network offers podcast production, podcast training, distribution, and product placement. Book us for your next event or schedule an interview with CTR Media Network podcasters today. To learn more, go to ctrmedianetwork.com.